We come to you live from the Wallace Civic Center on the campus of Fitchburg State University as FATV presents coverage of Red Raider Ice Hockey. That's our first high school ice hockey game of 2023 as the Red Raiders of Fitchburg Montee Tech play host to the Wildcats of Gardner. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Daniel Bolak. Happy to have you along with us here today. Travis Falk on camera. We're happy to have you join us for tonight's contest. Fitchburg Montee Tech coming to this game with a record of 6-4. They were 12-7 last year. Made it to the round of 32 in the Division IV playoffs in the semifinals of CMATA Class B. This year, 6-4. They started out 4-0, dropped a couple games to Littleton Bromfield and then overtime to Assabet. Bounced back with a win against Leominster, then losses to tough teams, one to Grafton and then to Chicopee in overtime. Most recent game for them was on Wednesday, a 2-0 victory over the Blue Knights of Lunenburg Ayers Shirley. 1-0 plus an empty netter it was. Colin Hines had the lone goal from Sam Jaramillo, and Alex Armstrong found an empty net. Owen Richard, 18 saves for his first career shutout. As for Gardner, they're coming off a shutout victory as well against those pesky Pacers of Chicopee. 3-0 was the final in that one, and Zach Boucher did all the work in terms of potting the puck in the back of the net. He scored all 3 goals for the Wildcats. Jason Igman had 3 assists as well. Cullen White with 2 assists, Jack McCrillis with a dish as well. And Mark Quinn, one of the best goalies in Central Mass, 25 saves for his second clean sheet of the campaign. So Gardner 5-5, 9-8-2 last year. And the Wildcats, 9-8-2, their first winning season in quite a long time. This Gardner side used to be a powerhouse back in the 2000s, but the 2010s, it was a lot of struggling. You can't really overstate how much the program struggled. And it took a little while, took a bit of work from Scott Frenier to turn it all around. But, his first couple of years with the program, his first 3 years, he was only able to find 2 wins for his Wildcats. But last year, 9 wins, and this year at 500 and battling for another playoff spot in Division IV. This Gardner team isn't very big. They have 17 players, just 3 seniors on their roster. They're pretty well balanced in terms of getting points on the board, though. Of their 15 skaters, all but 2 of them have points this year. Their leading point scorer is Chris Merchant, senior forward and alternate captain out of Gardner High School, 5 goals and 7 assists for 12 points. Jaden Patel, a sophomore forward, he had 11 goals last year. He's got 7 this year for Gardner as well. He's going to be another one of those players to watch, along with the aforementioned Mark Quinn, another alternate captain for the Wildcats in goal, the 4th year starting netminder for the Black and Orange. For Fitchburg Montee Tech, as we mentioned, 6-4. They've got a dynamic top line of juniors. Cody Berkio, 8 goals, 7 assists for 15 points. Colin Hines, 8 goals, 5 assists for 13 points. And Sam Jaramillo, one of the captains of this team, he's got 5 goals and a team-high 13 assists. That's 18 points. He's been quite the playmaker this year. All those players, juniors as well. Fitchburg Montee Tech, of their 22-player roster, has 5 seniors, 8 juniors. That junior class that came in as freshmen during the COVID season did a lot of work there. We saw how good they could be, and we knew this was going to be a team that could excel at putting the puck in the back of the net. And they've been working hard to do so. The captain's meeting in the sort of face-off circle there, or up there on the officials' crease. All the captains for Gardner, Zach Boucher, the captain, Chris Merchant, Ty Burnett, and Mark Quinn, alternate captains. Wyatt Peters there for Fitchburg, one of 4 captains, along with Sam Jaramillo, Cole Howard, and Tyler Broussard. As for the goaltending for Fitchburg Montee Tech, last year they went with Devin McGivern. He was the lone upperclassman on the roster in terms of goaltenders. They had 3 other freshmen that year, and they went with all McGivern all the time. The senior played every second, and with him having graduated, with no more time to put off the question of who's going to play in goal for the Red Raiders. This year it's been a 50-50 split in goal between Owen Richard and Easton Menardi. Each of them have played in 5 games this year. Menardi's got the slightly better numbers. Richard has played some strong competition, and they both looked pretty solid in goal. Didn't get the hand tipped on who's going to be starting in net for the Red Raiders tonight, but we're going to let Jim LaPointe answer that question for us as we'll send it down to him for the starting lineups.
Good evening, high school hockey fans, and welcome to the Wallace Civic Center for tonight's Coughlin Conference matchup between the Gardner Wildcats and the Fitchburg Monty Tech Red Raiders. Here's starting lineups. First for the Wildcats at forward, number 7, Chris Merchant. Forward, number 10, Drew St. Peter. Forward, number 9, Jaden Patel. Defense, number 4, Ty Burdette. Defense, number 13, Ray Thomas. And in goal for the Wildcats, number 31, Mark Quinn. The head coach for Gardner is Scott Frenier. For the Red Raiders, at right wing, number 18, Cody Berkio. Center, number 22, Sammy Jaramillo. Left wing, number 20, Colin Hines. Defense, number 24, Cam Begnosh. Defense, number 21, Wyatt Peters. And in goal for the Raiders, number 1, Owen Richard. The head coach is Steve Lowney. The officials for tonight's game, Dave Linneberry and Kyle McCoy. Ladies and gentlemen, students, at this time, I would ask you all to please stand as we honor our nation, the flag, and Dr. Martin Luther King on his special day with the playing of the Star-Spangled Banner.
Now just about to get underway here from the Wallace Civic Center in Fitchburg. This Coughlin Conference matchup, Fitchburg Monty Tech against Gardner. Daniel Bolak here with you. Fitchburg Monty Tech 4-1 in Coughlin Conference play, while the Wildcats find themselves at 2-4. These two teams also met earlier this season. It was game number 2 for both sides. That was a 5-2 win for Fitchburg Monty Tech back on December the 14th. Owen Richard gets the nod for the Red Raiders, riding the hot hand. He had the shutout last time out. Estimated .260 goals against, save percentage around .902. And again, that 18 save shutout 5 days ago against the LAS Blue Knights. Meanwhile, Mark Quinn, 229 goals against, .893 save percentage. His 11th start of the season. Of course, 25 saves last time out against the Pacers of Chicopee just 2 days ago. Red Raiders in the home white uniforms with brick numbering and trim. They will go from left to right in this first period. Gardner in the road black uniforms with orange numbering and trim. Not a speck of white on those jerseys to be found. They'll be going from right to left in this first period of action. As it's settled down at the red line by Wyatt Peters, trying to pass it along for Berkio, but he was in an offside position, had to wait for the tag up. Peters attacking there on Ty Burdette, who's protecting the puck in the right wing corner. Burdette tries to skate it out up the center, now to the right side of the rink. Trying to backhand it out of the zone, knocked down by Hines. in the neutral zone, and now Hines is going to try to jump on that one at the left dot. He takes the shot and a glove save by Mark Quinn. First shot of the game will go to the Red Raiders 43 seconds in, and Quinn will deny that. As mentioned, Mark Quinn, he got the starting job with the Wildcats as an 8th grader and has never let go of that starting job. His 4th season as the go-to keeper for the orange and black. Skating up ice for Gardner. A good chance there off the stick of Cullen White. It ends up going behind the net as the puck makes its way out of the zone. And doubling back is Hunter Barlow out to the far side for Jack McCrillis. Plays it off the boards. Cullen White will knock it along. Alex Armstrong tries to settle down in the Raiders' end. Hunter Kucher on the near side. Puck is thrown towards goal and sticked away by Owen Richard. Hunter Barlow with the shot for the Wildcats. Far side of the ice, that'll be thrown in and around. And tossed around the boards on the near side. Puck will make its way to the goal line and be called for icing. It is no-touch icing used in the NFHS rulebook. Players were racing a little bit to it, but the puck badly beat both players. It really wasn't going to matter. Once across the line, they'll blow the whistle and bring it back down to the right side of Richard. 13:29 to go in the first period. No score, 15-minute periods. That's the default standard in MIAA ice hockey. 17-minute periods are an option by conference consent, and the Central Mass doesn't do that. There are a couple conferences that do. Catholic Conference is one of them, but 15-minute periods is good enough, though, for Central Mass. Thrown around onto the near side. Tyler Brassard will toss it along on the far side of the boards, looking for Cole Howard off the bench there. Taken by Howard. He's able to collect the puck there, surrounded by 3 Wildcats, and Ty Burdett will take it. Burdett moving to the near side, try to pass it up ice. Gets caught in the middle of the zone. Second exit attempt doesn't work either. Wyatt Peters keeps it in. Raiders will change a couple lines. Thrown up ice, and that ends up going off the stick of Berkio and out of play. Up to one of those top rows there in the stands. Got to keep yourselves attentive and alert if you're going to attend a game here at the Wallace Civic Center. And a nice crowd showing up there on the far side for Fitchburg Monty Tech. On the near side for Gardner, it's a pretty solid turnout as well. A lot of friends and family making the trip down Route 2. Not a particularly taxing trip. Why not make your way out to this great venue to watch a great hockey game on this Monday night? 12:20 to go in the first period, no score, as Jaramillo will skate it around. Thrown in the direction of the goal, not a lot of pace, not on target. Raiders will collect it from behind the net. Pass out to the left point, blowing a tire was Armstrong, not able to get a hold of that. It goes all the way down to Richard, who will paddle that along. The Raiders will try to move it up ice, but that one goes off the stick of the Raider defenseman, and that was Brett Mayu who had it. Nearly lost his balance for a moment. But out of play it goes into the Gardner bench. Face-off will be at center ice. With 3:05 gone, shots are one apiece. Josh Crotty to take the draw for the Wildcats. He'll be matched up against Nick Paquette for the Red Raiders. Crotty will win the draw. Take it out to the far side of the ice, into the Raider zone, thrown around the boards to the near side. Picked up for a moment by Barlow, tossed it in the direction of goal, but again a bit off target. Gavin Richard there now for Barlow. A lot more pace on that one. Still off the mark though. On the far side, Raiders pounded off the boards down into the Wildcat end. Barlow will retrieve. On the near side, that pass ends up going behind Crotty. Raiders will pick it up, regain the zone. Paquette protecting there. Kyle Gendron, he's a former Wildcat. Played for Gardner 2 years ago as an 8th grader. Then made his way to Monty Tech. Not an unusual path. It's happened a handful of times that a player is able to play as an 8th grader for their local high school, and then they make their way to Monty Tech, and so they change teams from there. as that goes all the way down to Owen Richard, and he covers for a draw. And Richard is another one of those players who played ice hockey as an 8th grader. He did so for Oakmont as the reserve goalie during the COVID season. And then he made his way to Monty Tech, so joined the Red Raiders. Played one game during the pandemic season. Didn't play last year, as mentioned. Devin McGivern had all the games, but this year he's been battling with Easton Minardi for the starting job. Not quite settled yet, but it'll be consecutive starts for Richard with tonight's contest. As Jaramillo goes for Hines, tries to get a shot, and that one goes through! Not on Hines' shot, but the man in front pounds it through the 5-hole. 1-0 to the Red Raiders with 10:33 to go in the first. Cody Berkio just waiting right out in front as the initial shot just cut down a little bit. It made its way to Berkio, who pounded it through. And that dominant top line for the Red Raiders strike for the first goal of the contest. Jaramillo skating around the zone now into the left wing corner, tries to drop it back. St. Peter tries to intercept for the Wildcats. Gardner will take it, push it out of the zone. Raiders will settle in center ice, regain from Berkio. Berkio with the shots, turned aside by Quinn. Rebound out to the far side in the zone. Both teams just trying to settle and get on top of that puck. Gardner will clear it to the Raider blue line. Berkio self-pass off the boards, trying to skate Ray Thomas inside out. Shot, the piece of it, I think, gotten there by Quinn. Indeed it was. Patel tries to hit the stretch pass up ice. Merchant gets tangled up with a Red Raider. We play on. And the puck makes its way back into the Gardner end. I believe the goal will be Berkio from Hines and Jaramillo. Berkio's 9th goal of the season. As Gardner regaining the zone. And Cullen White around to the far side after a shot was turned away by Richard. Raiders get hold of the puck, try to get it out of the zone. Gardner still pressuring, still controlling from White. On the left dot, he stood up there, nudged along by Burdette, but a Raider able to take it away.
Raider goals by number 18, Cody Berkio, assisted by number 20, Colin Hines, and number 22, Sammy Jaramillo. Time of the goal is 4:27, first period.
There's the official scoring there from the point. It is as we expected, as Jacob Pruno throws a shot in from the blue line, and that's punched away by Quinn into the netting and out of play. 8:39 to go, first period. Red Raiders 1, Wildcats nothing. Shot standing at 5-2 in favor of the Red Raiders. So again, 9th goal of the season for Cody Berkio. Colin Hines, his 6th assist. Sam Jaramillo, his 14th. Gardner took a little too long with the line change. So that set of forwards is the one that'll have to go out on the ice for this one. The draw coming to the right side of Quinn. Controlled enough by Gardner to get it out of the zone. Mayu moved it along. He'll get it back there on the dump-in attempt. Jaramillo, left side, stood up there and knocked out of the zone. Mayu gets that one, but now perhaps an odd man rush developing. Derek Plummer into the zone. Gets it poke checked off his stick. I think that was Armstrong getting back there with the defense. And the Raiders able to clear it out. Jack McCrillis off the boards and back into the zone. Richard will just nudge it along there with the stick. Out to the near side, top line back on there for the Red Raiders. Here's Berkio. Berkio battling there with Barlow, able to shut down the rush. On the far side of the ice, Gardner making their way up. St. Peter getting tangled up with Armstrong. A centering pass knocked up in the air, made Richard sweat for a moment. On the near side from the point, shot out in front, redirection, score! I think that was St. Peter hanging out at the top of the blue paint to turn that home on the shot from Chris Merchant. The Wildcats have tied it. Definitely looked like a shot through traffic that may have changed direction on the way. Merchant will claim it through the handshake line. We'll double check the scoring to see if maybe St. Peter got a touch on that one. Maybe it was a Red Raider it went off of. Nonetheless, though, we know Merchant's getting a point on that, offsides against the Raiders. We've reached the halfway mark of the first period of play, and we are level at 1. Merchant coming today, 5 goals, 7 assists for a team leading 12 points. We know that'll make it number 13. However, it gets tacked up. Face-off won by Gardner back into their own end. Lee Burdette. Oh, turned over there. And the puck just out of the reach of Gendron. Gendron did have a goal against Gardner the last time these two teams met. So he's familiar with the concept of scoring against his former side. Thomas skating up on the right side, thrown in and patted aside by Richard. Around to the near side, and Hunter Kucher. Pushed along. This is Paquette into the zone. Throws it off the boards. Kucher trying to bad angle it. And Quinn trying to shut down that near side. Doesn't quite make his way to him anyway. Off the board, St. Peter. Overskates the puck a little bit, trying to double back. Push to the ice. Tangle up at the blue line for Fitchburg. Clearing attempt unsuccessful, and Cullen White intercepts and dumps in the zone. Cam Begnosh will move it along. The pass from Gendron, taken at the red line by Gardner, thrown in by Barlow. Around the boards to the far side, Gendron first to arrive, trying to watch that through, but Zach Boucher trying to get his stick in the way of that. Eventually Gendron was able to get it lost in a shot from the right point by Gardner, turned aside by Richard. 6:05 to go in the first, 1-1 the score. So we still await the official scoring on the previous goal. Icing will be called against Fitchburg Monty Tech. Faceoff will come all the way down to one side of Richard after the icing. Shot 6-5 in favor of Fitchburg Monty Tech. When these two teams met on December the 14th, Gardner had the first 2 goals in the contest from Jason Igman and Chris Merchant. It was 2-0 through 1 period of play, but then Fitchburg Monty Tech stormed back for 5. On the far side in the Raiders zone, they're able to break it up ice, and you can see Jacob Pruno leading the charge there. Pruno throws it through the paint, was looking for a Raider on the other side. I think that was Broussard. Instead, 2-on-2 back the other way. Shot a bit inaccurate there from Zach Boucher. On the near side, Austin Haas moves it along. And Broussard trying to get to that puck. Protect it, throw to the point. Armstrong around trying to find Broussard again. That's Pruno, check that. Around into the left wing corner. Trying to get it out of the zone. That's going to be offside, over and back. Armstrong couldn't keep it in. And a face-off comes with 5:04 to go in the first. (1-1) the score, as we've mentioned. Gardner, a co-op of 4 different schools, of which the Wildcats are the hosts. They do not happen to provide the most players, though. For my count, I've got 4 players for Gardner, 6 for Narragansett, 4 for Murdoch, and 3 for Quabbin. That makes up the side there. As for Fitchburg Monty Tech, the scales of balance on this side very heavily weighted in favor of the trade school. Of the 22 skaters on the varsity roster, 19 of them call Monty Tech their home school. There's a good shot there from Merchant, and a kick save off the toe there of the right pad of Owen Richard. The numbers have fluctuated so much in the past for Fitchburg Monty Tech. For so many years, Fitchburg's been able to provide so many kids, but as it is right now, just not a lot of kids.
Wildcat goal was by number 7, Chris Merchant, unassisted. Time of that goal was 7:24, first period.
So, as it currently stands, just not a lot of kids from the Fitchburg Public Schools coming out and playing ice hockey. We get the confirmation. Merchant unassisted is how they've credited it. Thought it might have been St. Peter in front getting a touch, but it looked like it may have been redirected off a Wildcat instead, as Jaramillo's high rising shot is off the mark. And the puck going behind the net. Gardner trying to dig it out, move it along near side boards. Players tumbling there. Berkio trying to steal it away from Merchant. Continuing a battle on the near side. Now Gardner will pry it loose and bring it up from Thomas. Battle 4 in the neutral zone, and here's Patel. Patel with a high rising shot, goes over the crossbar. Colin Hines in front of his own bench on the far side of the ice. Able to get enough on that. That's moved along. Berkio shakes off the hit there. Seen a lot of players getting tangled up, a lot of hits in this first period. That shot slung there by Boucher and stopped by Richard. 3:17 to go in the first period. 1-1 the score. Berkio the goal scorer for the Red Raiders, and Merchant the goal scorer for the Wildcats. Shots now 7-6 in favor of Gardner. First time they've led on the shot board today. We'd say now for Merchant, that's his 6th goal of the season. Second on the team in goal scoring this year, behind Jaden Patel's 7. Hunter Barlow on the right side gets a shot off, and that's gloved by Richard. Owen does have an older brother on the Red Raider side, Lucas. He's a senior, also out of Monty Tech. He plays as a forward. The left wing corner in the Red Raider end, Wyatt Peters moving around for Gendron. Gendron's first attempt on the pass doesn't work. Second attempt works pretty well. Here's Kucher on the left side. He gets a shot off and a kick save by Quinn. Another shot thrown towards the slot. That's paddled aside, and another chance, and that one gobbled up by Quinn as well off the stick of Gendron. Shots now level at 8 apiece with 2:40 to go in the first period. Face off to the right of Quinn. Balfour won and controlled by White, but the Raiders now have it behind the net. Turning around, protecting it, now Gendron on the far side. Holds left dot, shot saved by Quinn. Another shot is saved by Quinn there as well. He tries to shore up that far side post. Raiders trying to settle it down there from Kucher. Toss it around the boards, rides too high into the netting and out of play. Hunter Kucher, a sophomore forward out of Monty Tech. Last year he was playing with Oakmont with the Spartans, had 3 goals with them. A goal and 4 assists this year for Kucher. Last year he actually scored against Fitchburg Monty Tech as a freshman for the Spartans. So yeah, one of those 3 goals came against FMT in the meeting between Fitchburg Monty Tech and Oakmont earlier this year. He got an assist. That shot redirected in front, a couple chances. Quinn able to stay on top of that one. I don't know if he was 100% sure where the puck was on that second jab, but he kept control of it nonetheless. 9 saves for the junior netminder. 2:08 to go in the first period in a 1-1 hockey game. Balfour on the far side. Gardner trying to make the rush up ice now. With lots of pressure there. 3 Red Raiders, though, coming up with the pressure, block off the shooting lane. Now another shot redirected, and Richard had to paddle that one aside. Didn't want to take any chances with that. Clearing pass doesn't work. Another shot, that's blocked. Peters gets in the way of it. One of the top defensemen for the Red Raiders in terms of experience, Wyatt Peters, one of the captains. Able to get in the way of that previous shot. Far side out to the near Cam Begnosh will throw it down the ice. That goes off a Wildcat, and now Gendron trying to rush out to play that one. Quinn well out to the top of the circles to knock that along. Now taken by St. Peter. Tries to throw it towards goal, but not the most pace, and the Raiders able to shut that one down. Now cleared out of the zone, so we approach 60 seconds to go in the first period of play. 1-1 the score between these 2 solid sides. Jaramillo with an intercept, and Jaramillo tripped up a little bit. The officials' arms will stay down, and Quinn will take no chances, cover that one up. 52.6 to go in the period. We have been penalty-free in this first period of action. Draw will come to the left side of Quinn. The Raiders with their top line out there of Berkio, Jaramillo, and Hines. Shot through traffic into the midsection of Burdett. Another shot ends up whistling off the mark as well. Gardner moving along on the far side, St. Peter. Skated up ice, into the zone to the right circle, throws across. Found the pass he wanted. But Cullen White couldn't get the shot he wanted either on that. The idea, dynamic, but the execution, not quite there. 10 seconds to go in the period. It's in the Gardner end. Raiders trying to just shut them down. Gardner trying to get one last rush. They're not going to be able to get very far with it. Hines will regain the zone, but time will expire. And we've reached the end of the first period of play. Strong action on both sides and a goal for each side. Cody Berkio from Colin Hines and Sam Jaramillo
Shots on goal
at the 4:27 mark.
First period, Raiders 11, Wildcats had 9.
And for Gardner, Chris Merchant, 2 minutes and 57 seconds after the Berkio goal, Merchant credited unassisted, was able to tie the game up, and from there the goaltending was what shined. 10 saves for Mark Quinn in the first frame, 8 saves for Owen Richard. And through 15 minutes of play, it's Fitchburg Monty Tech
First
1
scoring summary.
and Gardner 1.
Raider goal was by number 18, Cody Berkio, assisted by number 20, Colin Hines, and Sam Jaramillo at 4:27. Wildcat goal was scored by number 7, Chris Merchant. That was unassisted. That was at 7:24. There were no penalties in the first period.
If I knew Jim LaPointe was going to do that, I would have just let him do the recap instead.
Purposely.
But it was a clean first period as well. The two teams, we could see that Gardner's got some of the hitting hats out there. Not afraid to make some contact, not afraid to shy away from the physical game. And they looked very strong out there. They only have 15 skaters at their disposal. But they've been able to piece together quite a solid team. And as we've mentioned, 13 different players have points this season, with the leading point scorer coming in with 12, now 13 for Chris Merchant. On his 6th goal of the season, he ties it. The senior forward and alternate captain out of Gardner High School. While Fitchburg Monty Tech getting that early goal from Berkio. And it was just solid passing on that goal, too, starting with Jaramillo, who, as we've mentioned, a lot of assists for the junior captain. 13 coming into the contest. He got a pass out to Hines for a one-timer. And decent contact on that one. I think Quinn was square to that one, but Berkio was right at the top of the blue paint, ready to pounce on that puck and pound it through the 5-hole of Quinn. And that was the goal for the Red Raiders in the first period, while Gardner got a shot from Merchant from the left point that found its way through a bunch of traffic. May have sounded like, based on how the scoring went off a Red Raider in front. Drew St. Peter was at the top of the paint, providing pressure as well. Thought he might have gotten the touch. Doesn't actually get a point for it, but still got to credit his effort as well to manufacturing that goal. So 1 period of play complete here at the Wallace Civic Center. It's Fitchburg Monty Tech 1 and Gardner 1. Take a break and we'll be back with the second period of action. This is Red Raider Ice Hockey on FATV. Welcome back to the Wallace Civic Center on the campus of Fitchburg State University. 1 period in the books between the Red Raiders of Fitchburg Monty Tech and the Wildcats of Gardner. 1-1 through 15 minutes of play. Daniel Bolak here with you. Travis Falk on camera. Happy to have you along with us tonight. Red Raiders had the opening strike at 4:27 from Cody Berkio. Assist for Colin Hines and Sammy Jaramillo. That's that top line striking again for the red and gray. For Gardner, they equalized less than 3 minutes after from Chris Merchant, an unassisted goal. Tied the game, and from there was the goalies the rest of the way. 8 saves for Owen Richard, the sophomore netminder for the Red Raiders, and 10 saves for the fourth-year junior, Mark Quinn. With both those goaltenders really with a bit of experience as 8th graders. So third-year sophomore for Richard and fourth-year junior for Quinn. Just the power playing for schools that are 8th through 12s, such as Gardner and for Oakmont in Richard's case. Just how the program and how the dividing up of things works. In the case of Quinn, he's a student from Murdoch High School, Blue Devil. The backup goalie for the Wildcats, Colton Veilleux, also from Murdoch High School. Meanwhile, for Fitchburg Monty Tech, it's sort of the same deal in terms of their goaltenders. All 3 of them are Monty Tech kids. Easton Minardi, who's the other keeper who's been battling, and Matt Daigle, also a former Gardner Wildcat, was on the team as an 8th grader. Yet to make his varsity debut yet, but still battling there and still contributing with the team. Switch sides for the second period of 15 minutes. Gardner in the road blacks with orange going left to right. Red Raiders in the home whites with crimson. There are many different colors you could use to describe the shade of red that they use. Crimson, brick. I think either of those work. Dark red. In any case, they will go from right to left in the second set of 15. Right now, both teams just really struggling to make any headway up one end of the ice. Now a little bit of time in the zone there for Gardner, and that one expires pretty quickly as it comes out to the other end. That goes off the skate of Hines, and now to Peters, tries to take a shot, cut down in front. Around the boards, right wing corner taken by Gardner, thrown up ice, hops over a stick, and we have a whistle. And elbowing indicated. Quinn was the one making a late beeline to the bench, so sounds like this penalty is going to go against Fitchburg. 52 seconds in, we'll have our first penalty of the contest. And Colin Hines is the guilty party. So we'll get to see what the Gardner power play looks like for the first time today. The Wildcats winning the draw.
Colin Hines, two-minute minor for elbowing. Time of the penalty, 52 seconds of the second period.
There you are. As the Raiders able to clear it down the ice. Brought back to the blue line and dealt with by Cam Begnosh. He sends it right back down. Gardner will try to reset with 30 seconds already gone on the power. Dumped in, and that's going to be icing as the dumping came from behind the red line. Wildcats not too happy with themselves. Haven't really been able to do anything on the power thus far. 32 seconds gone on it, 13:35 to go in the second period, a 1-1 game. No shots on target yet in this frame. Both teams still trying to find their legs. Red Raiders winning the draw will help a little bit. Brett Mayu will pursue that puck and throw it down the boards and right back down into the Gardner end. From that angle, it's actually pretty impressive how he's able to get the puck down to that spot there. Basically turning away, just able to flip it down there, and that intercepted by Paquette, moves it along for Kucher. That kills more time on this penalty. Mayu will try to go in pursuit of that, but it'll go to Peters. He'll be the first to arrive. Tries to move it along for Kucher. Gets tangled up with Patel on the near side in the Red Raider end. Peters will dump it out again. Gardner spinning their wheels on this power play. Haven't really even had the chance to get set up in the Raiders end. We tick closer to 30 seconds to go on the power. That hops over the stick of Cullen White. The Red Raiders will send it right back into the neutral zone. Hunter Barlow there at the red line. Protecting is Patel. Moves it along for Richard. And that one turned aside by Richard. Gavin with the shot, Owen with the save. That's the first shot on goal of the period as well. Centered to the top of the blue paint, but taken by a Raider. and pushed away from danger. Shot blocked, and a second chance goes wide. Penalty is up to Hines. He's out of the box, and the Red Raiders back to full strength. About 3 minutes gone in the second period in a 1-1 game. Delayed offside against Gardner. Not allowed to pursue. Still aren't. Now they can, now that the puck's out of the zone. On the near side, puck just pinballing around between the two teams. Getting to those lulls sometimes where both teams just really struggling to get any form of possession. Bouncing off a lot of sticks. Zach Boucher, the captain. They're battling with Nick Paquette for the Red Raiders, junior forward. Moved along, Hunter Kucher, the sophomore, trying to make some moves. Kucher backhands it towards goal. That'll be gloved by Quinn. 11th save of the night for Mark Quinn. One of 3 alternate captains on this Gardner side. Next time out for these two teams, they're both going to be taking on trade schools. Fitchburg Monty Tech's going up to Billerica on Thursday to take on Shawsheen. So there was a shot that got to the blue paint, but nothing more than that for the Raiders. Into the left wing corner. Gendron throwing it out in front. Good backhand chance there. Howard trying to dig at it. Mosh pit in the blue paint ultimately results in Quinn able to cover it. Helter-skelter for a moment there for Gardner. The Raiders just able to get the puck in a dangerous position. Quinn able to keep it out. Just like that, the shot's now 15-10 in favor of the Raiders. As for Gardner, they'll be back in action on Saturday. They'll be going down to Hopedale to take on the Beavers of Blackstone Valley Tech. First-year program. BVT used to be part of a co-op with Gardner. With not Gardner, but another team starting with a G, that was Grafton. The long-standing Grafton Valley Tech co-op broken up after this year. The numbers had grown to the point where you couldn't really justify the co-op anymore. I mean, if you got over 70 kids in your program, you can't really be co-oping. Both teams can very much sustain their own team. Both schools can very much sustain their own team, and so now they are. It's good for the sport to see more teams playing ice hockey. But sometimes it's also good for the sport. Yes, the puck loose right out in front, and Quinn able to corral that one with a bit of dramatics. And sometimes in cases like this, sometimes schools don't have the interest. So we mentioned this Gardner co-op on the varsity roster. Of the 4 schools involved, Gardner, Narragansett, Quabbin, and Murdoch, none of them have more than 6 varsity players on the team to provide. Can't really support your own team with 6 varsity level players. Shot from the left point by Peters, turned aside by Quinn. Berkio trying to get a shot off there. Goes just wide to the right. Begnosh jumping in on the right side boards. Tosses it towards goal. Sticked aside by Quinn with the blade of the stick. Berkio trying to pick a pocket. Ultimately unsuccessful in that endeavor. The puck taken down into the Raider end. Wyatt Peters protecting, keeping control of the puck. Here's Sammy Jaramillo. Off the center of the ice to the right side. He'll gain the zone. Jaramillo trying to drop it off for Berkio. Didn't get enough on it. Gardner trying to come back with some number. St. Peter with some moves, but Wyatt Peters not going to have any of that. Now back in the zone again come the Red Raiders. Out in front, Gendron couldn't corral the puck well enough to get a shot on target. Berkio with the chance. That rides off a Gardner stick up in the air and lands in the right wing corner. 9:25 to go in the second period, 1-1 the score. Between Fitchburg Monty Tech and Gardner. These two Coughlin Conference teams going at it. That puck just barely stays in. Just Armstrong with good effort there. But ultimately dumped in by Patel. On target, gloved by Richard. And Fitchburg Monty Tech struggling to clear a little bit. As it goes for Gavin Richard. Goes to center to the point. Missed the mark there in Burdett. And it goes all the way down. Ray Thomas will have to retrieve. That stretch pass misses everybody. And no icing ruled. Thrown around the boards, and Thomas can't keep it in the zone. Delayed offside against Gardner. They had to tag up. Puck is cleared back down to the Gardner end. Cole Howard dumps it in. Delayed offside against Fitchburg. Now Howard tags up. Raiders back on, and Gardner will move it out. Here's Gavin Richard again. Flubs the shot. And the Raiders trying to push it out on the near side. So there's a shot with pressure from Thomas, but well wide to the left. Into the right wing corner it'll go. And Peters trying to clear it. Goes off the skate of Burdette, couldn't keep it in the zone, and back down the ice it'll go. 7:52 to go in the second period. Fitchburg Monty Tech 1, Gardner 1. Berkey with the goal for the Red Raiders, and Merchant with the goal for the Wildcats. Near side in the Raider end. Gardner trying to pick it out from the boards, and that's dumped down the ice and perfectly on target too. So Quinn will play it and hit a stretch pass that hops over the stick of Cullen White and go for icing. That is not very often that you see the goaltender ice the puck, but shows the pace on the pass that Mark Quinn can throw on it. Yeah, looking ahead, as we mentioned, for Fitchburg Monty Tech, Shawshene Valley Tech awaits them on Thursday night. That'll be a 7:10 start. I believe that game's being played at Bill Ricka High School. Bill Ricka is one of a handful of schools that's got the luxury of having their own ice hockey rink on the campus. Yeah, the Hallenborg Ice Pavilion. Meanwhile, Gardner will be going down to the Blackstone Valley Iceplex in Hopedale. That's where Blackstone Valley Tech is playing their ice hockey. What an impeccably timed pairing, you know. Blackstone Valley Tech playing at the Blackstone Valley Iceplex. Not too far away from BVT's location in Upton. .640 to go in the second period in a 1-1 game. As that one floated out of the zone, back down the ice it'll go. Quinn will look to play it along, and he will do just that to Barlow. Both teams really struggling to complete their passes. We've seen the puck bounce over so many sticks tonight. Armstrong from the red line will dump it in. Quinn will settle, leave behind his own net. Tossed around to the near side. Will be Boucher with the stretch pass, trying to find Jason Igman. Couldn't find the senior there with the rush. Gardner will throw it around the boards, now to the far side. Taken by Berkio. Now along for Jaramillo. Jaramillo looking to drop it off Berkio, couldn't really find him. Gendron gets a touch on. Berkio turns around, throws one towards goal. Offline and off a Wildcats. Merchant, along to the near side. Nudged along out of the zone. Begnosh will go and retrieve for Fitchburg Monty Tech with 5:27 to go in the second. 1-1 between these two sides. Both the goals coming about 3 minutes apart in the first period. Hines moving it around behind the net. Keeps control of it in the Gardner end. From Jaramillo back to Hines, back to Jaramillo. Now Hines in front, gets a shot off. And that's stopped by Quinn. Gobble it up, no rebound. Shots now 18-11 in favor of Fitchburg Monty Tech. That's 7-2 in this period. When there have been shots on goal, for the most part, they've pretty much all been on Quinn. Standing up to the test thus far. Gardner moving it out of the zone. Raiders will settle in the neutral zone. Peters dumping it along, but taken by Gardner. Burdette skating it out to the red line, dumps it in. Bounced off the boards, and Owen Richard will go and cover it up. Say for both these teams, these jerseys are relatively new for Fitchburg Montee Tech. These are about 4 years old. I think the 1920 season was the first year they wore these. They're very nice and sharp. Gardner, I think this is the second season, I believe, the Wildcats have had these unis, and they're very sharp. The orange really pops on the black. It's a great shot there from Merchant, is turned aside by Richard. Raiders trying to pick up the loose puck out in front. And Brassard's shot ends up going high over the net, off a body in front. The right side in the Gardner end. Raiders able to intercept. Howard tosses it towards goal. And Quinn will glove that and hold on for a draw. I know when they got this new set of unis, Quinn actually had to change his number. He'd wore 33 with the old set, but the new set he wears 31. And interestingly enough, with how the numbers go for Gardner, their 15 skaters are 2 to 15 and 17. So no skaters with nobody on the Gardner roster wearing a number in the 20s. Puck in the neutral zone and now taken by Gardner from White into the zone, but two Raiders with the pressure. Puck goes now nearly behind the net, picked up by Boucher, tries to throw it in short side, and Richard holds the near side post. 3:39 to go, second period, 1-1 the score. Draw comes to the left of Richard. Controlled by the Red Raiders. Begnosh trying to make a play on Ingman. Pushed it along to the points. Pass doesn't go where they're anticipating. Haas trying to move that along for Fitchburg Montee Tech. Now intercepted pass, Paquette into the zone. Paquette trying to protect. Tries to throw it towards goal, goes off a stick, pops up in the air, lands in the left wing corner. Behind the net, dug out by the Raiders. Bad angle shot. That went off the side of the net, didn't quite make its way through. That beep tells me that they put a shot on goal on the board, which means, yes, it did make its way through, and Quinn was able to make that stop. The luxuries of having a microphone on the PA mic. Thrown down the ice and icing will be called. Have a face-off to one side of Owen Richard. 12 saves for the sophomore netminders. We mentioned all three of the netminders for Fitchburg Montee Tech are sophomores. And all of the Montee Tech students as well. Meanwhile, for Gardner, Mark Quinn, a junior. The other netminder, Cohen Veyu, a sophomore. Puck in the left wing corner in the Gardner end. Three players trying to dig it out. Gardner will prevail. And move it along. Jaden Patel into the zone. Stayed onside. The St. Peter able to check up there as he brought it in. Down to the right wing corner. Fouled for on the boards. Eventually popping out of the zone and retrieved by Ray Thomas. Moved along, here's Patel. Patel to the left circle. Checks up, moves it along, looking for St. Peter, too strong. Now to the near side, Thomas able to collect it and throw it back towards goal. Raiders trying to clear it out on the far side. Jaramillo backhands, gets it out. Gardner will have to tag up with 1:37 to go in the second in a 1-1 game. No scoring in this period, and really not a whole lot of dangerous chances either. More for Fitchburg Montee Tech, of course, though. Gardner held to just 4 shots, make it 5. On the 75-footer, Richard's able to turn it aside for his 13th save of the contest. Out to the neutral zone, Thomas getting tangled up with Hines and Jaramillo. Berkio able to intercept on the pass from Crotty. Into the right wing corner. Jaramillo trying to settle it, but the pressure coming there from Thomas, not able to get anything away. Gardner will move it up ice.
Last minute of play, second period.
And we're under 60 seconds to go in the period. Puck goes through Armstrong behind the net, trying to backhand, maybe try to find Crotty, was Plummer. As Gardner trying to settle up for a shot, can't really get anything off 2-on-2, perhaps developing maybe something a little better than that. Berkio can't find a passing lane, shut out there. As Mayu takes a shot, redirected by Berkio, but up and out of play into the netting. 24.5 to go in the frame in a 1-1 game. Shots this period are 9-5 in favor of the Red Raiders. I imagine Fitchburg Monty Tech threatening here in the final minute. Shot knocked down in front, thrown along the boards and out of the playing surface. And a draw will come again to the right side of Quinn. That puck made its way back to the ice. One of our referees will collect that, hold on to that one. Just stash it in the Fitchburg Monty Tech bench for the rest of the period. And that one thrown in the direction of goal. Paquette got his stick in there. And with the bad angle, Quinn able to get down there and shut that down. 14.3 to go in the period. 20 saves on the night for Quinn. Still a period to go after this, too. Draw controlled by Gardner. And Boucher trying to storm up ice with 5 seconds. Lost an edge as he goes into the corner. Paquette holding behind the net. And he'll just flip it down the ice. Let the buzzer sound to bring an end to the second period of play. Not a whole lot of scoring in this one. In fact, no scoring in this second frame. Really only one event to talk about. A penalty 52.
In the second period, shots on goal. Raiders had 12 shots in the second period. Wildcats had 5.
My math's got 10-5 on that. 11 in the first, 10 in the second for 21 for Fitchburg Monty Tech. 9 in the first, 5 in the second for 14 for Gardner. Colin Hines took an elbowing call 52 seconds in, and that was the only penalty, really the only event we had in that period. Really, both teams just really struggling to hit their passes, really struggling to sustain zone time as well. We saw a lot of back and forth in the neutral zone in that second period of play. But the chances definitely looked more dangerous for Fitchburg Monty Tech. For Owen Richard, he faced 5 shots, stopped them all. Not certain that any of those were really high danger chances. Gardner's just had a lot of trouble really setting up, and that power play they really struggled with too. But Fitchburg Monty Tech, they definitely had the better run of play in the second period, just weren't able to find a goal. But they'll try to carry the momentum, whatever momentum there is, into the third period. As we mentioned, they do have the bigger roster, 15 skaters at the disposal of Gardner. For Fitchburg Monty Tech, they have 19 skaters rostered. A couple scratched due to injury tonight, but they do have a little more that they can use. And especially Gardner will be trying to keep their eyes out for when Fitchburg Monty Tech does put that top line out there of Berkio, Hines, and Jaramillo. With Gardner, they're a little more balanced. I mean, they've got some players that can definitely do a lot of damage, like Merchant, like Patel and St. Peter. But they're pretty well distributed. 8 different players have scored goals for the Wildcats this year. So if you close your eyes for a moment, it may be a case of one of those players that you might not be expecting to could step up at any moment and strike when you're least expecting it. But we'll see what the coaches will have to say to their teams. 17th-year head coach Steve Lowney for the Red Raiders, 5th-year head coach Scott Frenier for the Wildcats. They've got some strategizing to do, and we've got a break to take. 2 periods in the books, 30 minutes complete at the Wallace Civic Center. It's Fitchburg Monty Tech 1 and Gardner 1. This is Red Raider Ice Hockey on FATV. We're back here at the Wallace Civic Center on the campus of Fitchburg State University. 2 periods in the books here in Fitchburg, getting ready for the start of the third between the Fitchburg Monty Tech Red Raiders and the Gardner Wildcats. 1-1 the score. Daniel Bolak here with you, Travis Falk on camera. Happy to have you along with us here today, however you may be joining us here on FATV, whether it be on Comcast Channel 9, Verizon Channel 36, the education stream at fatv.org, on your Apple or Android apps on your phone, or on your Apple TV, Roku TV, or your Amazon Fire Sticks. So many different ways you can watch FATV. First period definitely had more events happening in the second. Cody Berkio got the opening goal 4 minutes 27 seconds in from Colin Hines and Sam Jaramillo. And then 2 minutes and 57 seconds after that, Gardner was able to respond. Chris Merchant, unassisted, made it 1-1, and that's where the score stood ever since. Second period shots were 10-5 in favor of Fitchburg Monty Tech, but no goals to be found, just a single penalty against the Red Raiders. Gardner 0 for 1 on the power play. Fitchburg Monty Tech hasn't had one yet. Been a very clean game, as called by referees Dave Linneberry and Kyle McCoy. There's also a lot of resources out there if you want to be a referee too. Always use more referees to all forms of high school and youth sports. Two referees in regular season contests. We'll see more when we come to the postseason. In any case, ready to start the third period of action. Red Raiders in the home white uniforms going left to right. Gardner in the road blacks going right to left. We had no action going the other way around. Maybe going back to the way they were going in the first will provide a little more. Perhaps maybe the two teams like those sides better. Dumped in the zone, taken in the left wing corner by Cam Begnosh for the Red Raiders. Sammy Jaramillo trying to dig it out there, but Gardner able to take control, bring it to the right point. Cannot be kept in by Ray Thomas as it floats off his stick back into the Red Raider end. But Gardner's got a tag up, and now Fitchburg Monty Tech will move it along. Wyatt Peters will toss it into the zone. Gardner first to arrive. Ty Burdett will move it along near side. Jaden Patel. Now Chris Merchant, the goal scorer for Gardner, dumps in. Wyatt Peters first to arrive, battling with Drew St. Peters. They get tangled up and fall into the boards. That one knocked down the ice, and it will go for icing. Clock will stop as it reaches the goal line with 59 seconds gone in the frame. Draw will come to the right side of Owen Richard, Fitchburg Monty Tech keeper with 13 saves on the contest. Sophomore in his 6th game of the season. Coming in with the goals against around .260, save percentage just north of .900. Draw controlled by the Red Raiders. Moved up ice to the far side, Kyle Gendron gets on that one. Sophomore, 3rd year of varsity experience, playing high school ice hockey. Behind the net it goes. Raiders just trying to move it along. Nick Paquette using his feet to knock it along, and now bad angle shot off the side of the net taken by Hunter Kucher. And now a lot of stick work battling forward on the near side of the net in the Gardner end. Eventually taken by the Wildcats, moved out of the zone, where it's dumped back in by Brett Mayu. Here's Hunter Barlow into the zone, onto the right side, try to give and go. Was able to get the give off the go, didn't make his way back to him. Here's Kucher on the far side. Kucher to the left circle, backhand shot. Be gathered by Mark Quinn, the junior netminder for the Wildcats. He'll hold for a draw with 1:50 gone in a 1-1 game. 21 saves for the junior netminder Mark Quinn, coming in with the goals against a .229, a save percentage of .893. He's coming off a 25 save shutout against Chicopee. Gardner played Chicopee twice this year, won 4-3 in the first meeting on December the 27th, and then 3-0 2 nights ago in Gardner. Fitchburg played Chicopee last week, 9 days ago, lost 4-3 in overtime at Chicopee. The Pacers, a co-op themselves between the two Chicopee High Schools, the regular high school and Chicopee Comprehensive High School. They had separate hockey teams, but they really fell into a numbers crunch. Only 15 players that both of those schools can provide. There was a penalty against Gardner. And a hook is indicated. Looks like we'll have the first power play of the night for the Red Raiders coming with 12:51 to go in the third period. Chris Merchant, the goal scorer, and alternate captain, the senior forward, will sit for 2 minutes or less for the Wildcats. And we'll see the Red Raider power play for the first time tonight. They're trying to throw it out of the zone. Armstrong not able to get a good touch on that one. He's got to double back there. It's 2 Wildcats ready to pressure. Here's Boucher.
Wildcat penalty number 7, Chris Merchant, 2-minute minor for hooking. Time of the penalty, 2:09, third period.
So Merchant with the penalty there, as mentioned. First power play of the night for Fitchburg Monty Tech. We'll see how they can operate. And right now they're struggling to keep it in the zone just like Gardner was during their power play. Just a couple of instances where the Wildcats have been able to step up and break up those passes around the point. Near side, dumped down by Ty Burdett. Into the right wing corner. Red Raiders will gather with about 50 seconds gone on the power play, 3 minutes gone in the third period. In a 1-1 game, Jaramillo trying to take it all the way. Runs into Thomas, who will stop the momentum there. Colin Hines battling with Thomas. Thomas wins the puck and dumps it down the ice. More time killed. Alex Armstrong move it around to the near side. Colin Hines into the zone. Hines in the right circle, doubling back. Moves it along for Nick Paquette. Paquette will double back as well. With the pressure just trying to keep it away from Gardner. Barlow in there trying to bring the pressure. Let's float around to the left dot. Pass back for Hines. Missed the mark and then takes a terrible bounce off the boards. Wouldn't have expected it to go at that angle off the boards, but just hit a bad spot there. Now only 15 to go on the power play. Quick high rising shot ends up going a bit too high off the blade of Paquette. He'll get it back on the right side boards at the point. Stick slamming to indicate time about to expire on this power play. As the shot through traffic, Merchant makes the save. A second chance stopped. And now another chance jammed right at it. And the save by Quinn. Few big saves there for Mark Quinn. The pressure coming right at the end of the power play. That last one just stoning Nick Paquette. Now cross ice, one-timer, scores! That puck traveled an awfully long way to Nick Paquette. And Quinn was able to cover down the low side, but he was so committed to it, left all that space open up high. Paquette just had to elevate it, get it bar down. He does just that for his third goal of the season, and the Red Raiders lead 2-1. As it turns out, too, that goal scored at the exact same time as Berkio's goal in the first period, 4 minutes and 27 seconds into the frame. Begnosh with it on the shot, and now Merchant has eyes to equalize. He stumbles to the ice. Gardner appeals for a penalty. It's not going to be given. As Merchant tried to cut back to the middle, collides with the Red Raider.
Raiders' second goal was by number 3, Nick Paquette. Assisted by number 22, Sammy Jaramillo. And number 20, Colin Hines. Time of that goal was 4:27, third period.
So Paquette, his third goal of the season and second assist of the night for both Jaramillo and for Hines. It's the reason why Jaramillo leads the team in assists on the campaign. It was a tremendous pass to Paquette. He was able to settle it down, and with Quinn as committed as he was, just a matter of can you get that shot off in time. Quinn gets the dump down this time. They rule it was obtainable for Fitchburg, so no icing. good thing to know about Quinn is that he's got the ability to send those saucer passes, the big stretch passes, well down ice. He can work as a sweeper, essentially, if he has to. Here's Colin Hines into the zone. Hines trying to drop it off, pinballing around in front. And whether it be Jaramillo or Berkio, neither of them able to get a clean shot away. 9:25 to go, third period. Fitchburg Monty Tech 2 and Gardner 1. That goes in the right wing corner. Wrestling match for the puck. A lot of things going down, and one of the Raiders is clutching his stomach and hurt. That was Berkio down on the ice. As Hunter Barlow goes to the box, absolutely cross with the turn of events. .9:10 to go in this contest in regulation time. 2-1 to the Red Raiders. And they're going to be going on their second power play of the night. Berkio back on his skates now and is able to skate off on his own power. And our referees will discuss where we go from here on all of that happened in the right wing corner of the Gardner end. It turned into a bit of a wrestling match there. I wonder if someone got a shot in somewhere. Sort of maybe Barlow might have gotten his stick in a bad spot there on Berkio. So he'll sit in the box cross for a number of minutes, or perhaps more. Our referees continue to discuss where we go from here. Looks like they have come to a decision. They'll communicate that to Jim LaPointe.
Just 5 minutes, that's it, right?
Sounds like a major cross-check indicated against Barlow, and that's what they're going to go with. I imagine the Gardner side is not going to be too happy about that. That's the side the press box is on too, so you'll probably hear their cheers more than the Red Raiders cheers. But in any case, it's a 5-minute major assessed to Hunter Barlow, the sophomore defenseman out of Narragansett High School, for the cross check. And nothing more than that. They won't send him off with the misconduct. They now explain it to the Gardner coaching staff, led by fifth-year head coach Scott Frenier. The Wildcats running into their challenges in this third period. Already conceded a goal, taking their second penalty. Definitely a frustration penalty. Probably they ruled the cross-check happened while they were down in wrestling, and puck nearly accidentally turned towards Quinn. Able to get his pad down quickly enough.
Number 2, Hunter Barlow, 5-minute major for cross-checking. Time of that penalty, 5 minutes, 50 seconds, third period.
So major power play, as we mentioned, for the Red Raiders, 4:55 on that. And Barlow will sit for 5 minutes. No or less involved with the major. Raiders 0 for 1 on the power play, but they were able to make some stuff happen after the end of their previous power play. Right now having trouble making the passes work. 18 seconds after their original power play expired was when they found that second goal off the stick of Nick Paquette. Raiders back in their own end with 40 seconds gone on the major. 8:29 to go in the contest. And a 2-1 lead. Jaramillo drops for Gendron. His shot goes through the paint, out to the right. Out from one side to the other, out to the near side. Armstrong, first to arrive on that one. Jaramillo moves it along for Paquette. Now the left wing corner, trying to set up Paquette for another one-timer. Whiffs on that one, sent all the way down. And Richard will leave it there. Sophomore forward Armstrong moves it along, although listed as a forward, he's definitely playing more as a defenseman. Now the Raiders moving it along, and Jaramillo taking it right to the goal, and a stop by Quinn. Armstrong will go and retrieve, try to throw it back towards goal. That one blocked down. All the way down to Richard. That was Zach Boucher getting in the way. The captain for the Wildcats. With some strong penalty killing. 3 minutes and 20 seconds to go on the major power play for the Red Raiders. Here's Berkio on the near side. Skiing it around the perimeter of the ice, and now passes off for Jaramillo. But Jaramillo has his pocket picked. It looks like Plummer moving along. Puts a shot in the direction of goal, but just behind the net. Ricochets off the boards, favorably to Jaramillo, who skated it right into the right wing. Now off for Hines, can't get good wood on that. And it's spit out of the zone again. Peters will settle it down on the red line. Raiders will reset, 2:40 to go on the major. 6:48 to go in the third. Raiders moving it around. Peters for Jaramillo at the top of the left circle. Berkio in the corner. Looking for a shooting lane, finds it, takes the shot. It's stopped by Quinn. Now trying to wrap around in center. Neither attempt really successful. And Gardner able to clear it again. 2:10 to go on the major for the Red Raiders. Now 6:15 to go in regulation time, and a 2-1 lead for Fitchburg Monty Tech. Nick Paquette's third goal of the season, standing up as the difference right now. Berkio, who drew the major penalty, moves it along for Jaramillo, takes a shot punched away by Quinn. Paquette along for Jaramillo, tries to find Hines on the right side. Quinn might have gotten his stick in the way. Now to Peters, takes a shot, high riser, misses the mark. Off the boards, Paquette trying to move it to Hines. Now Paquette, surrounded by Wildcats, pokes it free to the left side. Peters steps up. Jaramillo back for Paquette. Now across Hines again, just can't really find his stick. They've tried a few times already on this power play to get a centering pass to Colin Hines, and each time they seem to find him in a different spot, and it's never on the blade of the stick. Berkio regains the zone with 60 seconds to go on the major, 5:10 to go in regulation time. And that puck makes its way to Quinn. He's able to stop that. Berkio just trying to get a quick one there. Now centered across, one-timer shouldered away by Quinn. On the shot from Jaramillo, he gets it back. Jaramillo, now he finds Hines. That one stopped by Quinn. And he was just able to keep it out. That time they found Hines in the right spot. And Mark Quinn with his 30th save of the night, a big one. And with the shenanigans in the paint afterwards, the faceoff will come out of the zone, and the Red Raiders are going to call timeout with 4:48 to go. In regulation time, they lead 2-1. They still have 38 seconds of power play time to work with. Red Raiders out shooting the Wildcats 11-2 in this third period. Again, looking ahead for Fitchburg Monty Tech on the 19th, they're at Shawsheen Valley Tech. 7:10 start there from Hallenborg in Billerica, and then on the 21st, they'll be back here at the Civic Center, taking on Lunenburg Air Shirley for the second time, a 7 o'clock start. LAS this year, 3-4-2, very sound defensively, just 18 goals conceded from 9 games. They have a very solid goaltending duo in Garrett Hakey and Kyle McGrath. Also want to remind you on the 28th, Fitchburg Monty Tech will be playing in the third leg of a triple header hockey day in the Berg here in Fitchburg to support former Red Raider Jake Tebow. Fitchburg Monty Tech will be playing St. Bernard's at 7:30, and we're going to have all 3 games of that triple header here on FATV. Fitchburg State and Plymouth State will open that at 3 o'clock. Milton Academy and St. George's School at 5:30. So out of the timeout with fresh legs. That top set on the ice is Berkio. Looking around, trying to find some space, gets a shot off, low in front, great chances, a great save, and on the rebound, they score! Quinn stopped the initial shot, but Nick Paquette at the top of the paint, waiting and lurking, pots the rebound, a power play goal, his second goal of the game, makes it 3-1. Just getting there to the net. And Quinn had made a great initial save, but there's only so much you can do. Oh, and another one right there! Kyle Gendron on the feed for Jacob Pruno. 6 seconds came off the clock, and the Raiders have a 4th. How quickly Lightning can strike. Didn't really have a chance to get settled in. Now here's another chance. Pruno scores! Oh my! Have you ever seen this before? 3 goals in 13 seconds! Jacob Pruno makes it 5-1, and they're all power play goals. Gardner had done so well to weather the storm, and it's all come crashing down in the most spectacular of manners. Once the puck is dropped, Hunter Barlow is going to come out of the box, and his brief moment of frustration has led to 3 goals for the Red Raiders. What was a close game has suddenly become a laugher. 5-1, Fitchburg Monty Tech in front. Just absolute shell shock from the Wildcats. Everything just coming so quickly.
Third Raider goal is by number 3, Nick Paquette, assisted by number 18, Cody Berkio. Time of that power play goal, 10:37. The 4th Raider goal by number 26, Jacob Pruno, assisted by number 12, Kyle Gendron. Time of that power play goal, 10:43. The 5th Raider goal, his second goal of the night, scored by number 26, Jacob Pruno. That goal was also a power play goal, and the time of that goal was 10:50.
Thought it was Gendron who may have had that 4th goal there from Pruno. They've got it the other way around, but whatever it goes into the books as is whatever it goes in the books as. But yes, after all of that, 3 goals in 13 seconds at the very end of a major power play for Fitchburg Monty Tech. And they lead 5-1. Just an incredible turn of events. Gardner was so close to surviving that power play. Then it all went south in a hurry. We'll see how Gardner can finish up this game. 2.5 to go, and they trail by 4 now. Bad angle shot from the left side will whistle wide of the cage, off the stick of Derek Plummer. And a couple sticks, a couple whacks at that puck. Makes its way to Owen Richard. And he'll stop and hold. 16 saves for the sophomore netminder.
On the fifth rated goal, add assist to number 5, Hunter Kucher, and number 12, Kyle Genrin. Time of that power play goal was 10:50.
So a little more going in the official scoring on all that. And here's Paquette up the ice. Floats it in. And out in front. Nothing going there. And oh boy, that quick barrage of goals really going to make Mark Quinn's night look a lot worse than it really is. 31 saves. And even the goal that Paquette had scored, that was off a great save that Quinn had made, but Paquette was able to get to the top of the paint and just elevate it over. High pressure. Was not going to be the easiest thing to execute, but execute it he was. And then the Raiders just stormed the zone, and just a quick pass, a quick one-timer. Pruno and Gendron hooking up on that one. That was going to be tough to stop too, with how quickly and how sharply the passes were coming. So there's a shot that's turned aside by Quinn. And then right off the subsequent face-off, Pruno basically got a breakaway. And another chance there from the point by Armstrong, gloved by Quinn. 61 seconds remain in this contest. And for quite a while, it looked like this contest was up for grabs for either team. But suddenly, 3 quick strikes. It's not like that anymore. Backloaded the excitement in this game, it so seems. Just felt like in the end, Gardner just sort of got shell-shocked through all of that. So close to surviving the major, and then it just all went collapsing. And the defense just could not get their wits about them. Gardner making the rush up ice, nothing going there. 30 seconds to go in the contest. Nick Atkins. Get to see some different numbers for the Raiders in the final minute. We have a whistle. And a penalty coming. Just got to say Nick Atkins' name for the first time tonight. And he'll be called for a penalty with 23.5 seconds to go. Rough go there for the freshman. He's from Fitchburg. He's a Monty Tech kid. And he'll finish this game in the penalty box unless Gardner gets a second. See if Gardner can finish the game at least with one last go at it.
Raider penalty number 23, Nick Atkins. 2-minute minor for hooking.
Good shot there by Tyler Orcutt.
14:36.
That was gloved down by Richard, cleared down the length of the ice. 5 seconds left. I think Gardner's decided they've had enough hockey for tonight. One pass, one whiffed shot by Chris Merchant will end the game, and Fitchburg Monty Tech will come away with a 5-1 victory. When there was 5 minutes left in this game, it was 2-1 Fitchburg Monty Tech, and it looked like Gardner was going to survive the major power play and perhaps have a chance to really turn it around momentum-wise. But then one thing led to another, which led to another, and before you knew it, 3 goals in 13 seconds.
Shots on goal for the third period. Raiders 17 for a game total of 38. Wildcats had 4 for a game total of 18. And your final score here from the Wallace Civic Center on Martin Luther King Day. Fitchburg Red Raiders 5 and Gardner Wildcats 1. The FATV Wallace Civic Center 3 stars for tonight's game. Number 3 star goes to Raiders, number 20, Colin Hines with 2 assists tonight. Number 2 star goes to Raiders, Number 26, Jacob Pruneau with 2 power play goals tonight. And your number 1 star, number 3, Nick Paquette for the Raiders with 2 goals, including the game winner, 1 on the power play.
I agree with Paquette getting the first star on that one.
From the Wallace.
After all, he got what turned out to be the winning goal, but also got that power play goal that started the barrage there. And for the junior forward, came into this game with 2 goals on the campaign, doubles his goal tally. And the Monty Tech kid really comes away with a great effort. Just 2 great goals there. The first one, the one-timer, in which he was able to settle, take the time, and elevate it over the outstretched Quinn. And then on the second one, able to battle for a rebound right out in front after Quinn made another great save. But he was able to get right just in there and able to put that one through. And for the Raiders, it was just one of those games that as the game went on, they definitely got better and better. But that major penalty is what ended up changing the complexion of the game. It was 2-1, and Gardner did well to try to kill off that penalty. And they did well for about 4 minutes and 45 seconds. And then when it started raining, it poured, and then some. Once again, 3 goals in 13 seconds ultimately salt the game away for the Red Raiders, and they take a big 5-1 victory to sweep the season series against Gardner. The Red Raiders go to 7-4 in the campaign, while Gardner will fall to 5-6 and have their 3-game winning streak snapped. I mentioned for Gardner, their next game will be on Saturday. They'll be taking on the Blackstone Valley Tech Beavers for the first time. 5 o'clock start from the Blackstone Valley Iceplex in Hopedale. Fitchburg Monty Tech will be on the road on Thursday at the Hallenborg Ice Pavilion in Billerica. Take on the Shawsheen Rams, a 7:10 start there. Before coming back to the Civic Center on the 21st to take on the Blue Knights of Lunenburg Air Shirley, 7 o'clock start. And we'll also ask you remember to keep in touch with FATV, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Go to fatv.org for more information on our next broadcasts. We bring you plenty of ice hockey as the month of January turns into the month of February, and we look forward to bringing that all to you. But for now, I think we'll wrap it up here from the Wallace Civic Center. Again, the final score for the final time, Fitchburg Monty Tech Red Raiders 5 and the Gardner Wildcats 1. So for Travis Falk on camera and doing all the technical support, and for everyone else at FATV, I'm Daniel Bolak saying thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope to see you next time. And until then, so long from Fitchburg.